Hello.
Hello.
Long time no see. Anyhow, I said we'll get started, and then if anybody else joins, I'll just let them in. So this is Jenni. Can everybody see Jenni's camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're
Hello.
If you're having any trouble seeing, what you can do is if you hover your finger or your mouse over Jenni's video, there in the top right hand corner of her video, you will see 3 little dots appear. If you click on those 3 dots, you can go down to pin video, and that will ensure that you can see Jenni. If you don't do that and someone else talks, it might flash between different cameras. It just depends what device you're watching on. Jenni is going to do a lovely range of readings and poems, and I know you're going to find them
People that I've spent the last 10 years with.
Entertaining and thought-provoking. In between, we might have a wee bit of a chat, and if you want to make comments afterwards or discuss anything, feel free. You don't have to sit in silence. Just remember, you are on camera, and this session is being recorded. If there's a lot of background noise from anybody's camera, I might mute them. So don't be offended if I mute you. It might just be that we're getting a bit of feedback, and I'm just trying to work out who that is. You are also welcome to mute yourself if you want to.
We're just here like that, and then you see everybody, and that's the girl that's doing the talking there.
So, is everyone ready to start?
Yeah.
Good stuff. I would just like to say as well, thank you very much to Jenni for giving her time for this free session this morning. The members here very much appreciate your contribution. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you. No problem.
Well,
hello everybody. Hello everybody.
Morning.
As Hazel said, my name's Jenni, and I live in Waringstown. So that's not really very close to any of you from what I'm hearing of where you all are, but the magic of this very technical stuff that just goes over the top of my head is just amazing. Well, as I say, I'm going to read a few wee poems for you. We'll take a wee break after the first 2 or 3, if that's okay, or before that, if you want to make any comment, that's fine. A wee bit about me. I'm married and I have 3 children. 2 of whom live in Northern Ireland, one in Achilles and another not too far from us in Waringstown. And then we have a son in New York. And so that's my background. Busy person in normal times, but not for the last 10 or 12 weeks. So here's the first one, and I'm sure you will recognize somebody who is just like this. And it's called I Have a Little Sat-Nav. I have a little sat-nav. It sits there in my car. A sat-nav is a driver's friend, for it tells you where you are. I have a little sat-nav. I've had it all my life. It's better than the normal ones. My sat-nav is my wife. It gives me full instructions, especially how to drive. It's 30 miles an hour, it says, and you're doing 35. It tells me when to stop and start and when to use the brake. It tells me that it's never, ever safe to overtake. It tells me when the light is red and when it goes to green. It seems to know instinctively just when to intervene. It lists the vehicles just in front and all those to the rear, and taking this into account, it specifies my gear. I'm sure no other driver has so helpful a device, for when we leave and lock the car, it still gives us advice. It fills me up with counselling. Each journey's pretty fraught, so why don't I exchange it for and get a quieter sort? Well, you see, it cleans the house, makes sure I'm properly fed. It washes all my shirts and things and keeps me warm in bed. Despite all these advantages and my tendency to scoff, I do wish that once in a while I could turn the darn thing off.
Very good.
Very
So,
good.
did you recognize yourself as a driver there or as a sat nav?
I'm definitely the sat nav.
Driver.
Driver. There's always somebody to tell you what to do, isn't there?
Yeah.
Now this one's quite different. This is called Dust If You Must. So I don't know what you think about dusting, or if you're a bit like me, it's the last thing I want to do. But here's a wee poem about it anyway. Dust if you must. Dust if you must, but wouldn't it be better to paint a picture, or write a letter, bake a cake, or plant a seed? Ponder the difference between want and need. Dust if you must, but there's not much time, with rivers to swim and mountains to climb, music to hear and books to read, friends to cherish and life to lead. Dust if you must, but the world's out there, with the sun in your eyes and the wind in your hair, a flutter of snow, a shower of rain. This day will not come round again. So dust if you must, but bear in mind, old age will come and it's not kind. And when you go, and go you must, you yourself will make more dust.
True enough.
Now this is really not so much a poem as looking back on life in the 50s. Now you're maybe not all old enough to remember, but I'm sure you'll recognize some of these things here. In the 50s, this is a history lesson. Pasta had not been invented, and curry was a surname. A takeaway, well, that was a mathematical problem. A pizza, well, that was something to do with a leaning tower. And bananas and oranges, well, they only appeared at Christmas time. All crisps were plain, and the only choice we had was whether to put the salt on or not. A Chinese chippy, well, that was a foreign carpenter. Rice was milk pudding and never ever part of our dinner. A Big Mac, well, that was what we wore when it was raining. Oil was for lubricating and fat was for cooking. Tea was made in a teapot using leaves, and it was never green. Coffee was camp and came in a bottle.
That's right.
Cubed sugar was regarded as posh, and only Heinz made beans. And fish didn't have fingers in those days. Eating raw fish was called poverty, not sushi. None of us had ever heard of yogurt. Healthy food consisted of anything edible. And as for people who didn't peel potatoes, well, they were regarded as lazy. Indian restaurants, well, they were only found in India. Cooking outside, well, that was called camping. Seaweed was not a recognized food unless it was dulse. Kebab, oh, that was not even a word, never mind a food. And sugar enjoyed a good press in those days and was regarded as white gold. Prunes, well, prunes were medicinal. Surprisingly, muesli was readily available, but it was called cattle feed. Pineapples came in chunks in a tin, and we'd only ever seen a picture of a real one. And water came out of a tap, and if someone had suggested bottling it and charging more than petrol for it, well, they would have become a laughing stock. And the only thing that we never had on our tables in the 50s was our elbows. So did that strike any chords with anybody? Do you remember any of those things?
Yeah.
Yeah. World has
How
changed
much the world
dramatically,
has
hasn't it?
changed. Gosh,
So
some of those
much.
things I had no idea about.
Is that right?
Yes, no,
You're
I
too young.
remember my mum would have had the camp coffee. You know,
That's
the
right.
jar, the bottle of
The bottle.
liquid.
It tasted,
Yeah.
It tasted really funny. I thought I seemed to remember.
Yeah, I would have been too young to be drinking it then, but I do remember my mum having it.
That's right. That's right.
It was very good for coffee cake. It made good coffee.
Great for baking, yeah, because you just poured it straight in. You didn't have to do anything to it.
I was just a thought in the 50s, and then
Of course you were.
and then it became a reality towards the end of the 50s.
You were just a twinkle in somebody's eye.
That's just a thought in my mum and dad's eyes.
That's right. That's right. But you would remember fish fingers. Well, they're still about, aren't they? Well, they weren't about then. But it's all the foreign food we're eating nowadays, isn't it?
It's amazing to think that people didn't eat rice as a savoury thing.
As a savoury thing?
Yeah.
No. It was only
We eat rice all the time.
Yeah, no, it was just made as a rice pudding.
A pudding and baked in the oven and all that sort of stuff, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's a staple.
It was like all fruits. You can get them 365 days a year now.
That's right. Absolutely.
And
fruits that sometimes we don't even know what they are.
I remember my granddad telling me the first time he got a banana. I think it was a soldier. He was a child, and it was a soldier from somewhere that was handing bananas out to children in the street.
Yes.
They didn't know what to do. They didn't realise you
Didn't
could
know
peel
what it
them.
was.
Yeah.
Or just eat them. That's right. Yeah.
Thank God. Thank God.
And the pineapples. Pineapples just in a tin.
Thank God for champ and soda foils.
Absolutely right. You couldn't beat it. Sure, you couldn't.
As
long as we have our
either of
potatoes.
those things until I moved to Northern Ireland.
Did you not?
But you know,
Fudge and butter in this house yet?
Did you know what a scallion was before you came to Northern Ireland?
Not at all.
No. We've some very funny ways of saying things, haven't we? But would you like another one?
Yes, please.
Would you like another one?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Well, this one's written by a man who lives down this way, somewhere by Tandragee, called Billy Ritchie, and he's a great way of putting things together. And this is a story about a hearing aid. And here we go. Old Davy McCann had been deaf many years. What folk said he never could tell. Then one day he spotted an advert that claimed he could once more hear clear as a bell. And into the bargain, with this, do you mind, with chip and transistor machine in shape, size and colour, was so well designed that in use it would never be seen. So Dave kept the advert, like he tore it out rough, and then he made an appointment to try. Well, lo and behold you, it worked right enough, and so he decided to buy. Now the thing seemed no more than the size of a bug, yet he heard all the sounds of the air, with the gadget stuck in at the back of his lug and covered forby with his hair. Now, hearing all, Davy went on his way, having happily paid up the fee. The agent says, come back 3 months from today for a service and a checkup. That's free. Well, when this time was up, Dave went back, looking pleased. Says the agent, it still works like new. I'll warrant to say that your lifestyle has eased, and your relations, I'd say, are pleased too. Huh. Devil pleased, old Davy replied, for I haven't as yet let them know. I wanted to find out just who's on my side. So I thought it would be best to lie low. So of it these months, I've said nothing at all. But boys, I've listened my fill. Just what they think of me, I now know it all. And 3 times I've altered my will.
Very good.
So that's the blessing of a hearing aid when people don't know about it. He was a crafty old fella, wasn't he?
He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of those magic things, isn't it? Here's a wee short one that a woman has written. It's called A Woman's Poem. I think she must have been not too long married, and her husband was giving her a bit of trouble, maybe. Anyway, here it goes. He didn't like the casserole. He didn't like my cake. He said my biscuits were too hard, not the way his mother used to make. I didn't perk the coffee right. He didn't like the stew. I didn't mend his socks the way his mother used to do. I pondered for an answer. I was looking for a clue. Then I turned around and smacked him one, like his mother used to do.
Very good.
Oh dear. You sometimes feel like that. That, I think, was written from the bottom of somebody's heart, wasn't it?
It was really.
She was at the end of herself. Totally at the end of herself. So do you want a wee break and have a wee chat among yourselves, or do you want me to keep going?
No, keep going.
Keep going?
Yeah.
Well, this night, I sing actually in 3 choirs. I'm not singing any at the minute. Singing days are nearly over, but I enjoy music and I enjoy singing. And you know, if your voice is not right, you just open and close your mouth and nobody knows what's coming out. And you just enjoy the company of the people around you. But this poem here was voted the national funniest poem in 1998. Now, that's a day or two ago, so it's quite an old one. And it's called The Alto's Lament. And as I sing alto, this really is at the bottom of my heart. Anyway, here's The Alto's Lament, and nobody knows who wrote it. It's tough to be an alto when you're singing in the choir. The sopranos get the twiddly bits that people all admire. The basses boom like loud trombones and the tenors shout with glee. But the alto part, it's on 2 notes, or if you're really lucky, 3. And when we sing an anthem and we lift our hearts in praises, the men get all the juicy bits and the telling little phrases. Of course, the trebles sing the tune. They always come off best. The altos only get 3 notes and 22 bars rest. We practice very hard each week from the hymn book and the psalter. But when the conductor looks at us, our voices start to falter. Too high, too low, too fast. You held that note too long. It doesn't matter what you do. It's certain to be wrong. Oh, shed a tear for the altos. They're the martyrs. And they know in the ranks of choral singers, they're considered very low. They are so very humble, and a lot of folks forget them. How they'd love to be sopranos, but their vocal cords won't let them. And when the final trumpet sounds and we are wafted higher, sopranos, basses, tenors, they'll all be in the heavenly choir. And while they sing Alleluia to celestial flats and sharps, the altos, well, we'll be occupied with polishing the harps.
Oh, I can relate to that one.
So that's the poor old altos.
So
Do any of you sing?
Yes.
No.
You sing, did you? Yeah. No, you don't?
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoy singing, but I'm not very good. But I love music.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, sing away. Sure, it doesn't matter if anybody hears you or not. That's the way I look at it.
Yvonne, do you sing in a choir?
I used to, well, a church choir, and then I was in a bigger choir, and then it stopped.
And were you an alto or a soprano? Were you an alto?
No, soprano.
No.
Soprano.
Very good.
You were one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
And it's not really all that true now, because some new music's very tricky and the altos get plenty of notes from time to time that they can't even get all in. But certainly in some of the old church music, that would have been true about altos. You'd have been holding on for long and long on just the 1 or 2 notes, which is very boring. Very good. So what was the name of your choir, Yvonne? Was it around Temple Patrick?
No, it was Sing Live.
Yes,
it was
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and we sang in the Royal Albert Hall.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Very good, indeed. Very good.
Yeah, so
That was a fantastic
amazing.
experience.
it was amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, there was one year we were over and we saw, what do you call him, Bruce Forsyth.
Oh, right, yes.
One night, then we did the Albert Hall, and then the next morning I was on the plane getting home to do a marathon.
Wow.
Oh,
well
Very
done,
good.
you.
Wow. You were a fit lady.
Was.
And she was not big a hurry off the plane because she had to get the early plane to Belfast City. So my daughter, we weren't going that early. She left her passport on the plane when she got out of the airport.
But that's very easy to do, isn't it? If you tuck something into that pocket in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Never remember
nightmare.
to
Once you
lift
get
it.
into that, you forget about it.
Oh, you do. You definitely do. I'm sure there's loads of people have left phones and all sorts of things behind. And you can't get back on to get them either.
No.
It's the problem, isn't it? Very good. Any more singers? No?
No.
No.
Did
Just
any of you
listeners.
watch that Dementia Choir thing that was on a few months back?
I did. I
Oh,
seen that. That was brilliant.
watched
I
that.
really
I
enjoyed
haven't
that.
seen it yet.
Yeah, it
Were
was
they good?
really, really good.
It was very good.
It was.
Do you think we have enough talent ourselves to get something like that started?
Oh, I think you should. I think you should have. Singing's very good for you. They'd say it's, good for your lungs. It's good for your whole body. It's good in many, many ways. That's worth thinking about. You can start it, Hazel. Are you an alto or a soprano?
I'm an alto as well.
Yeah, but here he is.
Happy birthday!
Oh, we better sing it.
Oh,
Happy
sing. Here's our chance to sing.
birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Mr. Allison. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You'll never forget that.
No, it's my first in isolation, so there you go.
Everybody's first in isolation.
What a
Yes, my
treat.
40th anniversary of my 21st.
Very good.
Have a good day.
Special
Thanks very
one
much,
then.
everyone.
Never add any more on after 21. You really don't. Very good. No.
Right.
So how are you doing? All right?
Grant.
I don't know if you've ever seen any of these notices that people put up that are really silly and not right. And you walk in and you see a sign and you think to yourself, did I read that right? Well, somebody has put a few together here and I'll just read a few of them for you. The first one was in an office and it says, toilet out of order. Please use the floor below.
Oh dear.
And in a laundry place, what are they called? Laundromats. And the big sign said, automatic washing machine. Please remove all your clothes when the light goes out. You could take that anyway, couldn't you?
Oh dear.
And in another office, there was a sign saying, would the person who took the step ladder yesterday, please bring it back or further steps will be taken. And another one in an office kitchen, there was a sign put up and it said, after tea break, staff should empty the teapot and stand upside down on the draining board. Wouldn't you love to see that?
You would indeed.
Now here's a good one. Outside a second-hand shop. We exchange anything. Bicycles, washing machines, etc. Why not bring your wife along and get a wonderful bargain? Well, they did say they exchanged anything, didn't they?
They did.
And here's one.
Took that literally.
A notice put in a health food shop window. This shop's closed due to illness. so that health food hadn't worked for everybody.
That's not a good advert.
And spotted in a safari park, elephants, please stay in your car.
Oh, goodness.
It just needed a comma, didn't it? Or a wee break or a dash or something. You know, makes all the difference. I am a very, very big person on commas and apostrophes and all the things I learned at school that I see not happening anymore. I can get very cross about it. And here's another one in a farmer's field. The farmer allows walkers to cross the field for free, but the bull charges.
I like that one.
And another one was put up in a hotel during a conference, and it said, for anyone who has children and doesn't know it, there's a daycare on the first floor. I don't think you wouldn't know if you'd had children.
Took me a while to get that one.
And the last one, this was on a repair shop door, and it said, we repair anything. And then in inverted commas, please knock hard on the door. The bell doesn't work.
Very good.
So you have to be really careful. There's another good pile of them. I must look them out, and they're all about church notices, you know, that people have typed into church bulletins and things, and some of them are absolutely hilarious. Really, really funny. Well, have you all got a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something to keep yourselves going?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Now, what else would you like? Let's see if I can find another funny one. Do you want to? And here's another one. Looking back to your childhood, would you like that? Do you think?
Yes. Yeah.
This is entitled "Those Were the Days." I remember the cheese of my childhood and the bread that we cut with a knife, where the children helped with the housework and the men went to work, not the wife. The cheese never needed a fridge, and the bread was so crusty and hot. The children were seldom unhappy, and the wife was content with her lot. I remember the milk from the bottle with the yummy cream on the top. Our dinner came hot from the oven and not from the fridge in the shop. The kids were a lot more contented. They didn't need money for kicks, just a game with their mates in the road, or maybe the Saturday flicks. I remember the shop on the corner where a penworth of sweets was sold. Do you think I'm a bit too nostalgic, or is it, I'm just getting old? I remember the loo was the laugh, and the bogeyman came in the night. It wasn't the least bit funny, going out to the back with no light. The interesting items we perused from the newspapers cut into squares and hung on a peg in the lav, it took very little to keep us amused. The clothes were boiled in the copper with plenty of rich foamy suds, but the ironing seemed never ending as Mum pressed everyone's duds. I remember the slap on my backside and the taste of soap if I swore. Anorexia and diets weren't heard of, and we hadn't much choice what we wore. Well, do you think that bruised our ego or our initiative was destroyed? We ate what was put on the table, and I think life was better enjoyed. But a huge fact not hereto mentioned in this mushy tale of nostalgic rejoice is the reason we all enjoyed our lot, because there was no other choice.
No, that's very true. Life was much simpler, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and you
if you
definitely
didn't like-
had what you were given, and if you
I
didn't
was
need
just
it,
gonna-
that was it.
That's right, I was just going to say that. You ate what your mummy put in front of you on the
Yeah.
table, and you wouldn't have dared say,
Right.
oh, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I gotta go here, so thanks very
Okay.
much.
No worries,
All
John.
the
All right,
best.
John.
See you.
Yeah, I
Nice
gotta
to
go.
see you.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Well,
funny enough.
I come from a family of 8, and there's 4 boys and 4 girls. And the oldest, we all got a tornado. The oldest one's closing, like this one down the hill.
That's
But
right.
that never seems to happen nowadays.
Not nowadays, no. I had a friend, and she had 2 other sisters, and she was the middle girl. And she always complained that she got her older sister's hand-me-downs. But by the time the 2 of them had worn them, they weren't good enough for the younger one. So she was the only one never got anything new, she thought, you know. Indeed.
Yeah, and I remember the toilet outside as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember that now, but certainly that was the way it was.
No, we did, and in my granny's house it would have been the newspaper cut into squares and hung on the back of the door.
And a wee bit of cord.
Yeah.
When I was a youngster too, there was no running water near us, so we had to dig a well.
Really?
And take the water from the well. And
lovely.
We actually pumped it from the well up into the attic to have running water. That's the way we worked it. No, there's no main.
Sure did it taste lovely?
Far better water.
I'm sure it was beautiful.
I remember visiting my grandparents, and they still had a tin bath that they used to put in front of the open fire
in the
kitchen. Yeah. Used to think that was such a
novelty. I remember the tin bath on a Friday night.
That's right.
Ours was a Saturday.
We always had what's that?
Sorry, Davey.
We always had a two-choice menu. It was take it or leave it.
That's right.
Funnily enough, I have a sign in my kitchen that says exactly that.
No, but I have friends who would make a different meal for absolutely everybody. I've never ever done that unless they're really sick. And I made them something to try and encourage them to eat. But other than that, everybody got the same food.
Yeah.
Did you not
really make it work for yourself?
Did you not get panada when you were sick?
Yes. Yes.
You got, what was that?
Panada.
Panada.
When you were sick.
Bread soaked in milk.
I've heard of that, but I can't remember what it was. Was it horrible?
Soaked in hot milk and a wee bit of sugar on it.
Yeah.
When you were sick.
Yes.
I remember getting that.
Never heard of that.
And was that
Hazel's baffled there now.
Yeah, no, it was just bread cut up and soaked in hot milk with a bit of sugar, and that was it.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And you were told it would put a lining on your stomach.
On your stomach, that's right.
Probably would.
It was like a poultice.
It was really in the inside.
And did it work?
Yeah, indeed. You didn't put it on your chest, like you had to swallow it.
Well, you had no choice but to eat it.
Oh dear me. I don't think my kids would be having any of that.
It must have worked. It must have worked, or people wouldn't have kept making it. All these old wives' tales, some of them are coming back in, I think. Aren't they going back to the old ways of doing things?
No, I think some of them really, did work. I think a lot of them did make sense,
Yes, yeah.
See, like years ago too, you'd be made to drink buttermilk. You wouldn't drink it, right?
That's right.
Well, some
my
people
dad
like it. I couldn't drink
but
it.
I never liked it. But my dad would have always drank buttermilk with his dinner.
That's right. Helps to line your stomach.
Aye. Lots of people did drink it with their champ and their Irish stew.
Yes, my dad would have. But as I say, something I would use for baking, if I was making soda bread and that sort of thing. And
scones and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. I would use it for that too, but I couldn't drink it at all. No.
But can you still get buttermilk, Alison?
You can, yes.
Oh, yeah.
For scones and things.
About 60p for a pint, I think, around that price around the shops.
No, you can still get it.
Do you bake much, Alison?
I do. I love baking.
Aye, so do I.
Well, Alison bakes. We have a wee Facebook group, a little private group, and she does her baking and then puts pictures into the group, and we all just wish we could pop round there.
Wish you were closer.
She does it to make us hungry.
I know.
But now we know about this, Alison. So when life goes back to normal, you're not going to get away with it. We're expecting fresh cakes at every meeting.
Yeah, no, I would. Now in the Bangor group, I would have baked and brought stuff along to you.
I think I'll join that group.
I was just about to say, we'll not tell my members this because they'll be changing groups.
Davey, we'll go up the next time, will we? The Bangor.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So whenever we have a get together, hopefully when this all settles down.
Oh, won't it be wonderful?
Yeah.
It would be so good to see people again, won't it? And really talk to them.
Face to face, yeah.
Our church is starting on Sunday, the drive-in church, and I don't know how that's going to go. It'll be really weird, I think.
Yeah, it'll be strange.
You know,
but I think it's going to be very hard.
How does it
very
work?
hard for churches to social distance. I mean, the church I go to, our whole congregation couldn't get in if we were social distancing. And
well, now we could. Unfortunately, our church is very, it's gone down greatly in number. So we
had a big building, have you?
Yeah. But as I say, at the moment, we can't go into the church other than for private prayer. So they're having it in the car park.
So you just drive up in the car then, do you?
Yes, the cars have to be spaced out because you obviously have to open your windows to hear, because we don't have the system that can go in through your radio, so
but you won't be able to get out of your car.
People who don't have cars, they can't come.
Well, that's it.
And they're the ones that can't. Like we've been watching the service online every week.
Yes,
but they can't.
But they can't get that either.
No.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing it online, but we've also been following up with a printed version.
Yeah, we have started a Dallas service. Have you heard it?
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, where they can actually dial a normal landline number and then they listen to the service.
It's been funny old times, hasn't it?
It is.
But I heard a funny story last week about a church down here somewhere, and they had their first drive-in, and a man who walks to church all the time, he's only round the corner, and he forgot that it was a drive-in and he walked, and then he had to go back home for his car.
Seriously?
Oh dear, could he not just stand in a spot on his own?
Apparently you're not allowed, but I don't see why that can't be the case, because there's some people in ours who don't have a car, and I thought they maybe should be able to come and have seats out, a few seats out spread out that they could sit. But apparently you're not allowed. I don't know.
That's strange.
In years to come, we'll all look back at this and reminisce about the days you had to go to.
They'll be writing poems about it forever.
It'll be like the 66 World Cup. Talked about for jackets.
That's right.
And I see the drive-in cinema. It's starting in Belfast.
I saw that it's opening.
But it's a powerful price.
Somebody said £30 a car.
25.
25.
Well,
I suppose if you had 4 people in your car.
No, if you had a full car, it'd be all right. But for somebody who maybe is going on their own or 2 people, it'd be quite expensive.
It's ridiculous, really.
And it's not new releases, it's.
Probably something you can get on video on DVD.
I think they're starting with Toy Story and The Lion King and.
What were you asking there, Yvonne?
No, I was asking where is it? Where is it being held?
Belfast.
Down around the Titanic direction, I think. Because the picture they've shown, you sort of see the cranes.
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure exactly but the ones that's been advertising it, you see the 2 Harland and Wolff cranes, in the background.
And I think you have to buy your tickets in advance, haven't you?
You have. That's probably 400 cars or something.
Gosh, that's handy money.
Yeah. But I don't even know how you would really see. You know, if you did go before in a car, how do people in the back see?
True enough.
You know what I mean?
No, properly.
That's right. You'd be dodging around headrests, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And here, or would you hear it very well too?
Apparently, you tune in they give you a radio frequency or something, and you tune in so you get the sound through your car.
Through the car.
But
I think I'll just stick to the TV.
I think the screen is massive now, but I sort of wondered, and then it'd be the loo and things like that, you know.
Aye, of course.
I always end up needing to go to the toilet.
You may take a bucket or something in, Alison.
I think the way they work that you're kind of looking down on the screen, so even you're at the same level, every car the same level. Do you think you're on a slope, but the screen's more or less down the way, so everybody be looking down.
So you'll be looking in that direction, right?
Say if you had a car with somebody in front of you, a big tall person, you ducking and diving around, you don't see them. You're actually seeing the screen as if you were there in your own.
Okay, right, okay.
I think that's the way they work in America anyway. And so we presume that's the way they're going to work it.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of feedback on it after.
They will. They will.
The first couple of showings.
Yeah.
You'll see all the complaints as well as everything else. People are in an awful way of complaining these days, aren't they?
But I think for that kind of money, they need to be showing something, a new release that hasn't been shown
think so
before.
too, Paul.
You wouldn't think of that. You wouldn't think of that much outlay with it, you know.
No.
It wouldn't take much to do it.
But
it's like a Toy Story, you know, it's a new Toy Story, but it's been out near enough a year probably, and The Lion King's been out quite a while, you know, so they're ones you can watch quite comfortably sort of in the house. I agree with Paul. I think if it was new releases, maybe
more
interested, willing to pay that amount of money.
Yeah.
I suspect the people who've made those new releases have put their release on hold because they won't make enough money.
Too.
I'm sure they have, waiting for the cinemas to reopen. Yeah. It's very, very hard for businesses, isn't it? I really feel for anybody who has their own business at this time.
The only business I desperately want to open is my hairdresser.
So do I.
And the dog groomers at our corners opened, and I sort of wondered if I paid them a visit.
That's a good idea.
Coming in on 4 legs would consider giving me a
from the night before.
Oh dear me.
It's just amazing the number of things that we just took for granted, isn't it? You know, they were just always there and that was it, you know.
It's the simple things like going for a cup of coffee, you know, or meeting somebody for a cup of coffee.
Totally.
Urban night shopping and being able to go in for...
That's right.
A cup of coffee.
We sit down.
Back,
I heard somebody putting a post up the other day saying sometimes a cup of coffee with a friend is all the therapy you need.
It is really, you
It
know.
is so true, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. Like at the weekend, we went shopping down to Asda beside us, and we queued for near enough 50 minutes outside in the car park. Yeah.
Goodness me.
That was fine when it wasn't wet and cold and raining, but I mean, it's just started to rain here today, so I don't know what the queues will be like now. Whether people will wait or not.
Well, people might wait. Yeah, my daughter, she checked the weather forecast this morning. Apparently, this afternoon's to be better than this morning. And it's brightening up here now. The sun's sort of come out now, but
it's raining here at the moment.
Good.
Oh, is it?
In Banbridge,
it's raining here with us too.
I'd like to hope that it's all over, that people have more respect for each other.
Yes.
Well, I hope so. I hope people remember, but sometimes you wonder, don't you?
That's
it.
And for the things you have as well.
That's right.
Memories are short, aren't they?
Jenny, do you have time for one more before we wrap it up?
I can do one more. Is that all right? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Is that okay?
This
wee one is by Bill Nesbitt, a very well-known writer of humorous poems, and this is talking about the wee blue bag. Now, that's a bag,
Big.
That's for
I
me,
know
is
what a bag is.
Every day's a school day.
Like the wee
Here we
flag.
go.
That's
The
right.
wee blue bag.
The bag.
The bag. Your wee bag with you. Here we are. They say that progress must be made, a point I'm sure that's true. Old orders fade and pass away to make room for the new. But yesterday I met a man who thought the whole thing wrong, and my heart was filled with sorrow as I listened to his song. They've taken the wee blue bag away. The wee bag's gone for good, without so much as a by your leave. I think they're bloomin' rude. They never asked no one's opinion. They just weren't playing the game. For without Don wee blue bag of salt, well, my crisps don't taste the same. I mind how my fingers trembled and my pulse thrilled to the chase as I hunted for Don wee bag of salt to find its hiding place. I mind on fateful evening when my heartbeats nearly halted, when I opened my bag of tatty crisps to find they were ready salted. What right had they to deprive me? Oh, they're just a bunch of dictators. They've taken away the power I had over me crisped potatoes. How can I ever enjoy them again? For what chance have I got to make my own decision as to salt me crisps or not? No matter where you look, there's signs that your freedom is taken away. No left turn, no entry, smoking forbidden, they say. Oh, sure, they even do the traffic lights. Go, get ready, and halt. And now, they won't even allow you to sprinkle your crisps with salt. There's a subtle, delicate balance, you see, between the crisps and the salt. And now I can never strike it, and it's all their blinking fault. And I got no say in the matter now. I can't control the flavour. For without Don wee blue bag, if I can quote, the salt has lost its savour. The wee blue bag has vanished. May thunder and lightning strike them. Why must they salt my crisps for me? Sure, they don't know how I like them. I reckon it's just contrariness, or so it seems to me, for I'm sure they've plenty of wee blue bags down there in Tandaragee. I can manage without my pint of beer. I can do without a fag, but in my crisps I sorely miss the salt in the wee blue bag.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Very good.
Yeah, remember the wee blue bag.
I remember it too.
The wee blue bag, indeed.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Jenny. I really enjoyed
you're very
that.
welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
No, it was
thank
lovely.
you.
Thank you.
We've dipped into all sorts of places.
Yeah, gone down memory
Thank
lane.
you very much.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure. You're very welcome.
No, it was really enjoyable. Thank you for giving up your time.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
No bother.
I've recorded that wee session, and some of our members haven't been able to get on, and I would like to maybe upload it so that they can watch it at a later date. Is everybody happy enough if I do that?
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay, good stuff.
That's
Thank
fine.
you so much, Jenny. I really, really enjoyed that. It was good to have a laugh and do something different, wasn't it?
It was lovely.
Yeah.
Good. That's
Hazel,
great.
what about the members who have been, getting the iPads? Are they having any luck?
The iPads have just arrived with us this week.
Oh, right, okay.
So me and Lauren are getting them all set up this week. We've got to get them so that Zoom is easily accessible, and we're setting up a Facebook account for each one as well, so that they can join in with the Facebook group. And we're putting an app on it so that if they're struggling with it, we can access the tablet from our computer. We can get into it and control it. So we're getting all that set up, and then they'll be getting posted out hopefully next week. So.
Oh, that's brilliant. And thanks for that affiliation form. I hadn't got one in my packet.
Well, there you go.
Again last night.
You got it.
So I printed it off, so I'll fill it in and get it sent in.
Fabulous. Brilliant.
So thanks for mentioning that, because I didn't know about it at all.
I just sent it to everybody in the end last night in case there were other people that didn't get it as well.
Yeah.
Good enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I had a look through it, and my husband, he got the volunteers pack, and he hadn't got one in his either. I thought
maybe it's just been missed. I better mention it to Lauren just to check.
Well, a few people last night mentioned that they had got it,
Yeah,
so...
I got one.
Did you get one, Davey?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, I'll get it filled in and get it sent in.
Have a lovely day, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, thank you so much, Jenny. We really appreciated that.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks. Yes, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.